And we're back to the Matrix, Stevie B, Boston, coming through with the pre-games for tonight. First game, Celtics, Nets. And the Celtics took a tough loss against the Nets the other night. You know that's our team, so we was breathing for them. But unfortunately, what essentially I feel like happened is yes, those players got cooking. Their big three got cooking. And Kemba and Tatum, from what I feel like, got colder in the second half than they did in the first half. And there were a couple of factors that play in there where I feel like certain players stepped out of their role. And that's something you can't really have. So essentially, keys to tonight's game, I expect the Nets to come out where they're going to try to make a statement early. Essentially, in the same blood in the water, hope we don't have them sort of, come out just hot from the beginning. But at the same time, a lot hinges on the fact that the Celtics play defense, And if we're going to talk from a defensive standpoint, then we got to highlight a few things. Romeo Langford should be getting minutes. We have to basically, the idea, I feel like tonight, the idea and the keys to winning for the Celtics will be Tatum has to score 30 points. 38 and 8. All right. Shout out to Mel for his take on that. 38 and 8. No less. Kemba has to keep his foot on the gas the entire game, because if Kemba's foot is on the gas the whole game, pull up when you feel like it. Play like Dame Lillard like you used to, because Kemba used to play like that. Okay? Ultimately, that puts them in an offensive position to where, okay, you're going to play tough defense, but stop. Just stop playing around and giving Fournier space. Let that man roll into where he needs to and move through the offense, but the ball needs to be moving. And that's one thing I do like about Langford. Even over Fournier at times, because Langford's defense is better. And he plays within the offense. All right? And he's athletically capable. And the man hasn't even gotten a shot to be what would have been their sixth or seventh man off the bench this year. So, essentially, those are some keys there. You have to keep Kyrie and Harden under 50 points. Point blank, period. Okay? And it means Durant, in fact, yeah, for me, that's Mel. You got that. I'm going to say 40 points, though. Look, Durant's hard to keep down in terms of you can only throw so many people at him that he can't get a jumper over. All right. And again, we're going to stick with the fact that they are finesse guys, jump shooters. Defensively front these guys. Okay. Put in Romeo Langford. Put a body like Grant Williams or Semi Ojeleye at Durant more often, and rotate and move the ball, because all of these guys can knock down shots, Langford of which can slash to the hole and is always cutting backdoor anytime necessary. Okay, people don't pay enough attention to the sound way this man slides back in and after a couple of games and is a key component. Okay, I feel like that's a key. Smart plays smart. Point blank, period. You get what you got out of Marcus Smart last game, but you get you get a little bit more of him running the point. Not being the second or third man with the ball where he's in a obviously you're gonna pass off the good pass, but then you're not creating a play, or he's either creating a play as a second man or third man the ball was passed to, and then either secondary creating a play, which is resetting the play, or shooting a three, making a play himself, which, again, Smart plays like himself. Plays smart. That's all. But I want to see him running the point a little more often, too. Letting Kemba come off of picks. Tatum, start from the beginning of the game. Run the ball in your hands. It doesn't have to be every single time for the whole first quarter the ball runs through Kemba's hands to begin with. Like, it doesn't have to be traditional. Okay, because ultimately, Marcus Smart is the point has won actual games for you guys and for us as point guards at point guard for teams that had younger versions of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, that had guys starting at point guard, i.e. Isaiah Thomas, i.e. Kyrie Irving, ahead of him. And yet, when those guys go down, somehow they win with at least a game or two with Marcus Smart. Now, I've stated this before, and we'll put that to the shelf. But ultimately, this game comes down to Tatum has to, fill up the box score 30+. Kemba has to keep going. Smart has to play his game. You have to put everything physical you can at Durant, and Smart has to play that. I want to see Smart playing James Harden a little more, a lot more. Thank you very much. Okay? And at the same time, Rob Williams. I think adding the alley-oop potential to where in the offense now, because the idea is to start moving the ball, and as active as this man is playing, he should have had plenty of offensive opportunities. And Jason Tatum, you need to look, because Marcus Smart will. Run plays with him, Tatum, and purposely be looking for him, but go aggressively about doing so. And that's what will lead to a Celtics win. Anything else will lead to the Nets potentially coming out, either early, because you have to do what you did in the last game, but you have to score more, essentially. Essentially, it has to be a repeat of the first half, and they have to score more. You can't rest on your laurels with this team and expect yourself to just come out and start hitting jumpers when you weren't and move the ball. Everything will fall. Next game to be talked about after that would be the Lakers and the Suns. The Lakers and the Suns. And of course, the season ends up a certain way because, AD was injured, LeBron was injured. You call that what it is. Couple of keys to that game. AD has to dominate DA. That's all that matters. LeBron's going to get everyone else involved. And who essentially is the X factor after that. That is the keys to that game. And we're not going to, tread lightly on the fact that AD could have been the difference. But ultimately, if he does not have a stat line that looks something like 25, 10, 5, and 3, then there's a problem, because he can't just float around the three-point line. That's not acceptable at this point. AD has to give LeBron something extraordinary to work with. They need to come out the gate. LeBron to AD or AD LeBron an alley-oop, or LeBron's just going to come out the gate and probably just, to the hole, to the rack, just to establish something. Because at any particular point, LeBron sees everything going on. But AD can't play outside the paint and see everything. He needs to play from within inside the paint, or at least at times needs to make it purposeful, like out the gate, beginning of the game, LeBron in the post to AD. You can't lean back on the fact that Drummond or Gasol, if they choose to bring him in, are going to be the down low guys, because Gasol can shoot, but I still don't expect that to happen. I'm only saying that's not, no. The AD has to play big. He has to be the best player on the floor, not named LeBron James or Chris Paul, okay? Because ultimately, Chris Paul is one of the best players on the floor, period. If not second to LeBron, always, it's Chris Paul. Yeah, Book, I know who you are, but AD, Book's more consistent though, so we can't disrespect Book. But AD must be big time the entire game, and he has to play defense against Ayton. Stop Ayton. You can't play soft and rely on somebody else that's playing big in the game for y'all to play Ayton. I know AD wants to be a power forward, but look, you need to play like a center. And every time he does, he benefits. And I don't understand what the deal is with that. But chalk that up to what it is. Others will play well. I believe LeBron will mix the KCP, Caruso. They're going to do what they do. All right? Matthews, they're going to do what they do. I feel like Matthews is a huge X factor for me because I feel like he's capable of doing something tonight. Shout out to Mel for that take too, But Kuzma, I don't even expect crap from him tonight. And he's my real X factor because AD and LeBron are back. So when AD and LeBron are there and Kuzma has an exceptional game, more often than not, they win. Because LeBron already has other people involved, and I respect KCP. He's gonna show up. He's gonna take them passes LeBron gets him and hit them threes. Take them swings and hit to the hole. And he's a good player. That man was a starting three in his own right whenever he wanted to be. The Lakers paid him $20 million for like 1 year one time. I feel like on these 1 year contracts making $20 million because he's high end and he's like, who else you got? You combine that with Caruso's consistency. You combine that with Wesley Matthews potentially playing pretty good. I think that he's the X factor for some people but these are the guys I know are gonna make shots when LeBron sets them up to make shots. And are gonna play aggressive because it's all on the line, and you better not play. And they've shown it. They're gonna play that way for LeBron. In general. Yes, I said for LeBron. Because it's just a certain level when you play with LeBron that if you can match what he wants, and what he does, and play and be aggressive, you ain't got nothing to worry about because he's going to set you up. That's butter. Kuzma's my X factor. Can't just get 8 and 4 out of you, Kuzma. Not acceptable. I need you to be 12 and 8, 15 and 7, 15 and 8, something like that, or better. And active, making a defensive play or two. That's the key to the Lakers game. AD must dominate DA, because if DA matches you, it's a problem. Then the Kuzma factor really becomes something. And LeBron's going to do what he does. I expect a stat line of 20 to 28 points from LeBron, 10 boards, 10 rebounds. 10 boards, 10 assists, something like that. And potentially a few defensive plays because I feel like he's going to be, again, a little bit more aggressive, but maybe that means a steal or two here and there. Maybe that means one block. But LeBron always fills up the stat line. You know what you're going to get. Lastly, but not leastly, which is not even a word of any sort, but last but not least, comes the Clippers and the Mavericks. That last game between them two was just straight out Luka, kind of like Joker, Luka. And that's what I was saying earlier in my last video about Joker being MVP this year because Luka's coming. He's another guy coming. Other guys are going to be in MVP contention. And shout out to a lot of the guys on the Mavericks. Those dudes, Luka is, poetry in motion sometime, and has clearly, mastered the art of the, weird 1 foot Larry Bird, not necessarily always smooth setup, little mid-range jumper, which is an asset in itself to your mid-range, to your game, But, I saw a lot from them that, showed me exactly why they're in that position. And, you don't know what performance. You can get another monster. You can get a monster performance from Porzingis anytime. Tim Hardaway Jr. is, a stud in his own right. And those guys, I can see why that game was won. And what's weird is what kept, again, the Clippers, when they were in the game, when the offense was running through a point guard like Rondo, I noticed. And I don't know if it's a problem I have with Pat Beverly, but I think he's it's been documented, I think he's a little bit overrated. Yeah, you can be a little Energizer Bunny on the court, but productivity when they put you in the point guard position doesn't always pan out with this dude, you know? And it always ends up turning into a Paul George and Kawhi Leonard game, you know? And I guess everyone just expected that to be enough. But I don't really see that. I see the offense moving more, fluidly through Rondo, and I'm wondering why. And I looked at that, why isn't? I don't know if it's Rondo's minutes there, or I think that they're favoring Pat Beverly over Rondo a little bit more than they really should, and they need to just let Rondo run this offense. And I think that's really all I have to say about that. That'll be the nature of that game. We'll see how that goes. But like I said, I'm looking at if you want to do pregame predictions. Well, I'm only gonna put out one thought. I obviously want the Celtics to win. I expect the Lakers to win, and I expect the Clippers to win. I don't think either of those teams go down 0-2 without it meaning something about their teams. The Clippers especially, okay? But let's just say anything can happen at this point. So we'll talk later. Like, subscribe. Leave me them comments. Let me know what y'all thinking about the same thing. This is on the long end of the video. So, if you click to your segment, just let me know what you think about your team, your segment, or whatever particular, because it's not just my opinion, it's our opinion, So, Matrix, we out.